Everything we know regarding when we could expect the announcement for an entire Amazing Digital Circus follow-up season, and obviously everything we're going to be seeing in that season, is going to start us with the comments coming from the actual creator of the animated series in the first place. Gooseworx covers the future of the show and everything we could look forward to in regards to an entire season for starters by answering the question asked by the user Folded Chip, who asks, how far into development are the next episodes? As obviously the state in which follow-up episodes are at are going to help dictate when we'd expect the full season, to which we see Gooseworx say they're all written at the very least. This implies the entire season is practically finished in regards to the actual planning phase that would be meant to go along with it. Now is when you clap, please. As it turns out, we know this development phase, already revealed to be wrapped up in the first place, additionally connects to storyboards that go along with each of the specific scenes. Again, these are something teased to be connected to the same creator, meaning it's likely the newer ones are just floating around somewhere in their possession. Since this is the person with the main plan in regards to the follow-up episodes to our already released pilot, their additional comments on the rest of the season definitely come off as interesting. Probably one of the most important aspects of this whole thing connecting to the actual subject material of this new season is an additional question asked by the user Mangalore, who types out, do you think there'll be episodes dedicated to certain characters? Or will things continue in the chaotic everything at once style you were going for with the pilot? Essentially, this compares a more focused approach to every new episode within the season to something more crazy that throws around characters in interesting situations, kind of like what we already see teased in the original pilot episode. And we're told by Gooseworx, if it were to be made into a full season, yes, each character gets their own little episode. This essentially confirms that the pilot was meant to be different from the rest of the show in some way at least, as the follow-up episodes, assuming they're fully created and released, are meant to reveal all of the secrets connecting to each of the individual characters in their own episodes. So the big question in regards to this episode format is what secrets they're actually meant to reveal. And it turns out following our original Amazing Digital Circus pilot for a new episode could have something to do with the leftover ideas the creator had that were left for a potential reuse later on. The episode concepts basically reveal what they were all meant to be anyways, so start clapping again because this is pretty amazing news. Gooseworx touches on this very topic of ideas that were originally unused with what's labeled as potential plot ideas. This is obviously going to be pretty important here. Our list starts out with a character is in pursuit of a mysterious exit door, pointing to a different one to the versions we end up seeing throughout the pilot, as we know they all seem to be formatted the same and all end up not even being real exits in the first place. As we're told specifically, there basically is no exit to the Amazing Digital Circus. We're basically introduced to the concept of a newer special door Pomni is likely in pursuit of in a follow-up episode. The list of potential plot concepts continues with, Dr. Football is a funny name for a character who's not a doctor and has nothing to do with football, as I think this might have something to do with the character already introduced throughout the original events, having more of a part to play later on. We already know the creator has hinted at each character receiving their own episode, but never at newer characters playing a role. While the role of Dr. Football could have simply been meant to fill one of the main character spots from the pilot originally, only to be replaced, it could always be something introduced more later on as a fun little addition. We just have to wait and see. On the topic of the additional characters, we obviously know more are likely to be added along the course of the season. And going back to the original sketches of these characters, introduce us to different additions who were all created alongside the early models for the main characters. Slightly altered versions of Kaufmo that were likely meant to be original candidates for the characters before the finished pilot was released, a new sock puppet style character that's been reworked a few times in different potential ways, that to my knowledge we haven't seen present in the show's events yet in any way. And most interestingly, we have what appears to be a sort of counterpart for Zooble, with parts made up of what appears to be leftover limbs and attachments from an entire Zooble box. The concept of these character counterparts like this is something we already see actually cemented into the pilot with the addition of Queenie, Kinger's supposed partner who definitely wasn't having a great time, judging by the big fat X we can see thrown onto her room's door. Bringing the element of episodes unique to each character could likely have something to do with this leftover version of Zooble. The main question tying everything we know together is the truth regarding the next episode of the Amazing Digital Circus becoming a reality. We need to look at what the higher-ups behind the production process actually tell us to figure out when we'd likely see a release. While there were rumors going around regarding a 2024 release for an additional episode or something around the January timeframe, we're able to get more of a confirmation by the way the actual team behind the project set up their promotional content, for starters, because they outright tell us we need to save Pomni and the rest of the cast by purchasing the Amazing Digital Circus merchandise. Yep, animation like this is not cheap, and we're talking an entire season here. For the entire season to be greenlit and locked in for a release, there needs to be enough support behind it being made. So go buy one of these. We're able to get more insight into the higher-ups' role in all this, as Gooseworx gives us essentially the full story after answering the Tumblr question asked by Femi13. How do you like the fandom formed around the Amazing Digital Circus? Are we good enough to continue the show? Meaning a continuation of the craziness we've been introduced to in the pilot's original episode. On Tumblr, you guys are fine. Other sites, you guys are iffy. Either way, the decision to continue the show isn't up to me. To pretty much sum up what's being said here, the season and overall all the follow-up episodes for the Amazing Digital Circus have been planned out already to a point where voice actors are getting involved here, but they still need the funds to go through the animation process. As we're told, wait, I thought you guys already finished a whole season. Didn't Gooseworx Music say they were at episode 3 already earlier this year? In terms of an already 3-episode long confirmation, it's more likely this is in regards to the voice acting and planning bit, as the animation itself, as a commenter agrees with, is expensive and the voice acting is done way before it, which connects to the most important thing you'd obviously need to know in regards to when this next episode would likely happen, considering everything we know. Due to the sheer amount of hype supporting the idea of the show's continuation, they're obviously going to have the funds to piece together the animation process. Probably. And the animation process itself is what's going to 100% guarantee we are not going to be looking at a season 1 around the January 2024 timeframe. Some of the biggest animation teams out there aren't able to complete an entire show within a month or so timeframe, as we're told from people more experienced on the topic. Not to mention the actual announcement for new episodes to come hasn't even been made yet. It's being created by human beings, people, not magical sorcerers who can make things in 5 seconds. So in terms of a more realistic timeline for when a full, roughly 10-episode season would be completely dropped, see you in 2025. I will say it's more likely it'll be formatted in a way that gives us 1 episode at a time, meaning a period of at least a couple weeks or so would be required for a hypothetical episode 1 after the pilot. Maybe a January 2024 drop would make more sense if we're talking 1 new installment, because there's no actual way they'd be done with all of the episodes by then. And in regards to what we know already, it turns out there's actually bonus content that's been released. Little secrets and behind the scenes footage that reveal a lot of hidden aspects about the show and everything you're going to need to know about it as a viewer. I put together the full story on all of this secret content in this video right here. So make sure to check it out for more of the Amazing Digital Circus content.